us. Oh, yay. It goes right into it. It looks like
Oh,
hopefully this is working.
hey,
I think we're live. This is so exciting. Be-
great. Hi, everyone.
Hi, everyone. I am really hoping that this is working right now with the StreamYard connecting to YouTube. I'm Angela, for those of you who are new to the book club, and I am here with a first-time guest hostess. Y'all probably know who she is, though, because I think you're a big deal on Instagram. I mean, we've connected. She comments. She has the great posts, the great visuals. I have a screenshot here because she's reading for the seasons, but I'm going to say hello to Dana. And I'm like, this. She's hello.
Thank you so much, Angela. I appreciate it. I am not a big deal. You're the big deal. You're the one that has connected all of the mystery lovers. And thank you so much for doing that.
Oh,
Found wonderful people. Love it. And
oh.
I'm glad they're popular.
It's so interesting and so funny to me when the very first Cozy Mystery Book Club YouTube live stream was January 2018, and up until that point I had done a little bit of research, and there was only one Goodreads group for Cozy Mysteries, and it was defunct. It hadn't been active in over a year. So I'm like, oh, nobody's talking about cozies. Now all of a sudden I see more book clubs, more things are popping up. It's so fun to see people celebrating this subgenre. So I'm really excited that people are finding it, enjoying it, and you enjoyed tonight's book. People in the comments who've been participating over on Instagram seem to like the book. So see all the more reasons to read and celebrate Cozy Mysteries.
You know, our local bookshop just started a cozy mystery section for the first time ever. So I was so excited that they did that. So it really shows they've come a long way, I think.
They really have. I mean, Hallmark with their adaptations really helped to kind of, I think, put the ball in motion. But it's nice to hear that bookstores and libraries are really showcasing cozy mysteries, because I do think of them in a similar way as romance novels, because it is primarily a female driven readership and female creators. So it's really nice to see women, doing well and being celebrated for their successes. And I'm seeing all sorts of comments pop up. People are joining us from all over. I was trying to respond earlier, but welcome to the live stream. And I saw, where did the comment go? Baby number 3 is due any day. Oh my gosh. So you're sitting here joining us, celebrating Cozy Mysteries with the baby on the way. That's, I mean,
Wow.
oh my gosh. Welcome to the live stream. Hopefully you guys are aware that tonight's book is Killer Jam. Let me go pull up the image. So I cannot believe, like, this is where we're at now. So we only have 3 more YouTube live streams after tonight. So December is the buddy read for 12 Days of Cozies. And then we also have, because it's the holiday season, we talk about that on Instagram. I'll post some things across the social media platforms, but we're kind of heading into the end run here. So Killer Jam is our book tonight. I have the little image here because some people were talking about how much they loved the book cover, and it really is a gorgeous book cover.
It,
It really is, as you nod along. So this is how big of a cozy mystery person I am, and how much I love you guys. I prepare so far in advance. So the nails are red to go with the backdrop of the text for Killer Jam. So we have the red nails for this. And then I specifically bought this pullover on Etsy for one very, very specific reason. There's a little jam, a little illustration. So I am really hoping that you guys liked this book tonight, because I am ready to go for it.
ready too. Well, you know what? I have my book and my nails are blue, but they kind of match the sky.
They do. That's perfect.
So we're both prepared. No, I really enjoyed this one. So, and I'm glad everyone else did too.
So I have to ask, what is it you enjoyed most about the book? What pulled you in? Why was it such a good read for you?
So I love a small town farm setting. That's like my okay. I love it. I would love to actually own a farm probably and milk a cow and make jam and I that's just my thing. I love like small town.
I love the way you say I want to milk a cow. You're like, I want to milk a cow someday. I don't know how, but I'm going to do it.
Yes, we should set that up. And I love the setting. I love the characters. I thought it was actually a really good plot because I did not guess who did it. until but the ending I was getting suspicious, but I really did enjoy the setting, and I also loved all the foodie references. I mean, her food sounded delicious. I wanted to jump in the book and eat. It made me hungry. I love the recipes in the back. So, everything really.
I wrote that down because to me, I've mentioned this before. I love my cooking and culinary and my baking cozy mysteries. I myself am not a chef, so I always read and appreciate the recipes in the back of the book. But I always have those moments of, but will I actually do this thing? And I think they did a really nice and interesting job here for the back with the recipes because they almost increase in difficulty level as you go. So we start out with the cottage cheese, which I feel like is beginner friendly, and then you start getting into the custard pie and actually making jam. So I like the fact that we have a little bit of variety here. And then the last item here, I was for some reason I love this and I wasn't expecting it, which is why I think it made me so happy. The final one is how to make the beeswax candle. So if you're interested in doing a candle craft, so this book is not just farm based. We have crafting, they're making jams, and then you have the animals. So lots of different things for you to enjoy.
Yes, lots of, and I've always been intimidated by making jam for some reason. It always seems so difficult to me with the jars and this, and really it made it sound easy. Like I think I could do it, and her dewberry jam sounded so good.
I see.
Dewberry.
I
I,
never thought of it like that. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to talk over you.
I just said I'm not quite sure what a dewberry is, but I'm assuming it's some type of raspberry blackberry crossover. If anyone knows, let us know.
I went to Whole Foods. It's a little bit of a drive from where I am. I typically end up going to Trader Joe's, but I went to Whole Foods and they had this entire section of local jams, and I'm looking up there going, "Oh, I know there's sugar in you, but I really want you." So I bought the raspberry jam and I put it on sourdough bread. Oh,
Oh,
chef's kiss. It was delicious. I understand the jam appeal.
yeah, I love jam, so that sounds wonderful.
Oh, yes. We have so much to talk about tonight. Tobias, we're also gonna have to talk about Blossom, that cow. I mean, she's on the cover. She's great. I mean, we also have the little the poor naked poodle. There's a lot to talk about tonight. So I,
Just brought up a good point, and you reminded me another reason why I love this book. I love when animals are almost a character in and of themselves, and I feel like this book did that.
what was I one of the notes. So Blossom, the cow, she was number 82, I believe. So she was Harriet Houdini because she liked to break out of her pen and go meander around town and eat the local flower beds. I thought that was hysterical. And the poor little thing, she kind of cut herself at one point trying to break out of her pen. But that was all the more reason to then have the vet check on her and have the potential love interest be around. So even though she got a superficial cut, there was a very attractive, very talented veterinarian right around the corner to help her out. So I was worried about her a little bit though, but hopefully she's not going to get out into oncoming traffic anytime soon.
I would not. I love Blossom. I thought that was such a cute added touch to the book, and it also gave our Lucy a reason to call the very handsome vet. So that was a good thing. But I love Blossom.
I mean, she was kind of adorable with wanting to kick over the milk that she just got out. She's going, "No, I'm going to kick this bucket. You just spent all this time with me, and I know you worked really hard for this, but boom." And she was in charge. She knew what she wanted, what was going to happen, when it was going to happen, and you can't really blame her. So I'm curious how this is going to play out in future books because she's got a big personality. I'm not sure how she's going to interact with other animals when they join the farmstead there. So I'm curious what's going to be going on with her.
Yes, I'm sure Blossom will be around for a while and be eating things that she shouldn't.
Okay, so speaking of eating things that they shouldn't, so Chuck, the little the little poodle, the little dog, he was apparently a little chunky, and they're putting Chuck on a diet. And his diet treat, the dog treat, was cooked carrots. And I had never thought about cooked carrots being a dog treat before. I mean, maybe Blossom would want the carrots, but I was not thinking about Chuck with the carrots. And apparently, Chuck did not want the carrots. So I was kind of right in thinking that. Although his reasons for not wanting them totally different.
I have a dog, and my dog does not like the carrots. I don't blame Chuck. And when I read that, I was like, oh, Chuck, I feel for you because my dog does not like those either. So when she sprinkled the cheese on his food, you remember she gave him a little bit of cheese. I was like, oh, yay, Lucy, because poor Chuck with the carrots.
The poor little guy. I mean, I have a 5-pound teacup Maltese. Her name's Daisy. She is very much, she'll put her little head up. Some dogs eat anything and everything. She'll sniff some things, put the little head up, and walk away. I'm going, okay, we're not going to have that for dinner tonight. So I kind of understand when there's a treat out or something and the dog just walks away. I've taken to donating the treats, and my chiropractor, I see her on a regular basis. I've started giving her the dog treats that Daisy doesn't want because she has her dog in the office and he's so stinking cute. He eats anything. That's not Daisy. But apparently Chuck, I mean, I feel bad that he's on a diet. The poor little guy. I mean, he's on the farmstead. Maybe just let him roam free in the little fenced in area.
That's how I feel. I mean, my dog, I have to be honest, is a little chunky. She's a King Charles Cavalier. And I just feel like, you know what? She's older now. Just let her have a good life and just have a couple treats, you know? But exercise her. But I did. My heart went out to Chuck.
Poor little guy. I mean, growing up, I had a Shih Tzu, and they claimed he was a purebred. That little guy, there's no way he was a purebred because he was so there was so much more of him than should have been with a Shih Tzu. He was a very large little guy. And so I was like, he's a lot larger than the typical Shih Tzu, but he enjoyed his life. He was having fun. And Daisy, if she's not going to want to eat something, I'm not going to force her to. But Blossom was eating everything. And at one point she got one of the Lays or something. They had a decoration and she had like the nibbles where she was trying to see if she wanted to eat it. And then she spit it out and went back to the flower beds.
Yes, Blossom has her own personality. She's a character.
Well, there are a lot of characters. So someone up above mentioned Tobias was their favorite character. So did you have a character that you really enjoyed? Because people seem to like our leading lady, our sleuther. That was one of the questions about it on Instagram. I always try and get people involved, and I try and figure out where we're going with the conversation, if there's something in particular people want to talk about. And so one of my questions was, what did you think about our leading lady, our sleuther? And people gave the thumbs up. They're like, I love her. The only comment, the only negative was, I wish she was a little firmer with the local sheriff. But I'm thinking, okay, if that's the biggest complaint you have with her, that's a pretty well written sleuther. So I was kind of curious if you had a character you're going, no, I love this one.
I really like Lucy, but again, I have to agree with whoever said Dr. Brandt, Tobias. I just loved him because I love animals, and I love that he cared so much for them and took care of Chuck when he got hurt. And he really was probably my favorite, but I do like Lucy, and I'm hoping in future books that, something more happens.
I know he's definitely the love interest, right? He's the obvious choice.
He is. And I also liked Quinn, her friend. I thought she was a very good friend. I think even though she had issues, she tried to help Lucy. And I liked her. Oh, really? There's three of them I liked. The other ones, like Nettie and Rooster, not so much. But, I really did. I liked Lucy, Tobias, and Quinn.
I mean, I think that the author, I always love how I'm like, this is my version. I say McInnery. I don't know if that's how we say that. If I'm mispronouncing that, please correct me. But Karen McInnery, I think she was very clever with this being the first book in the series and keeping the cast list manageable. This was not one of those books where I got overwhelmed. The only thing that happened every so often was Blossom and Buttercup. Buttercup is the name of the name versus Blossom. So I had a couple moments with the B's getting in my head, but that was also because I was a little tired at that particular point and I needed a little pick me up caffeine wise. but she was very clever keeping it limited. The only the only one I thought was funny was I wrote the name Myrtle down, and I think she was only in one scene as the librarian who offered a lot of backstory and gave us some context with our murder victim. But aside from Myrtle, who had a very minor role, most of the characters were pretty reoccurring, and they had a decent amount of dialogue or moments where you're going, okay, I remember them. I know who this person is. People,
Manageable character lists, and some of them can get crazy, and this was not. And I also think it was good because she really explored all the characters, and you got to know them more so than in some books. So I really like that also.
That's true too, because we got to learn about Tobias. He's divorced, and I am worried about the best friend. And someone up above mentioned it as well. So we have the sheriff who's potentially abusing his wife, and then we have Quinn who is escaping her ex-husband. At least I think she said she was married 3 or 5 years, but she has a restraining order against him. And I mean, she has a sad backstory, and I'm hoping in the future books she's going to get her own sort of happily ever after success story, have the negativity out of her life, find someone who treats her right. And I'm really hoping the sheriff is not going to be the sheriff in this town for too long, because someone needs to go after him if he's a wife beater. I mean, I want to make sure she's okay. I was waiting for that with this book as one of like the little tie-ins at the end, because I'm not going to do spoiler alert because we're going to get into the spoilers at some point with the murder victims. But there was a character where they're going, oh, an accessory after the fact. We're going to bring so and so in, and I had that moment of, but what about the sheriff? What about him and his wife? So I'm curious if that's going to come up in future books.
I am too. And I also like that this book, like a lot of the cozy mysteries lately, are exploring topics that are a little more serious. They're bringing this in with the spousal abuse, and they're, making that an issue. And I like that because it's not just all fluffy anymore. And I think, I hope in future books, both of those cases are resolved. Rooster is probably my least favorite character. And, I do hope we explore some more of that and get to know what happens to his wife.
I mean, I want there to be the women's shelter. I want her to get taken care of. I know she's fictional, but I'm worried about her. This is how my brain goes. I find that that one character, that one person, and I focus on them going, I need them to be okay. I know you're not real, but I want to follow up on you. I need to know what happens in your story.
And I was actually just frustrated when her husband was calling and she was afraid to tell anyone because she didn't think that the sheriff would do anything. And, that was very frustrating to me too. I'm like, please tell someone that he's calling you. But, besides Lucy and, she had a restraining order, but yet he's still calling her. So that actually really bothered me.
Yep.
And like the resolution that it came to, but I'm glad at least he is not around anymore, hopefully.
Oh, yeah, I know. I'm like, fingers crossed, future books. I saw someone posted, here it is. Maybe the sheriff is the victim in the next book. I'm going, if he's a victim in a future book, I'm okay with that.
Actually, not
That's I love that. That's a great comment. And Meredith R., you really liked how they handled the subject. It was a huge change from the norm in a cozy. You didn't expect it. And then where was the other one? So here, Amanda, I have to put down every domestic violence book except this one. I think that's really fascinating, and I think that's kind of a nice little like feather in the author's cap going, she did something, she wrote it really well. She gave this the attention it deserved, but at the same time, it didn't take you out of the cozy mystery of, I want to have that food. I want to have the details. I want to live in this fun little place with Blossom and Chuck and all the fun little animals and their cute little, snuggly faces. But yet at the same time, that is a heavier topic. And I made a note of it. So the character at one point, she's at the library and she picked up the latest Ellery Adams, the latest Susan Whitting Albert book. And I kind of thought their books will have moments of not necessarily all the fluff. They'll have, I mean, I don't like using say all the fluff, but they'll have moments of, oh, this happened. This isn't the best situation. Negativity happened here. So maybe she's channeling those authors, or those are the authors she admires and wanted to have something similar to. But I thought those two authors being referenced and then having this as a subplot kind of went hand in hand in a way.
It really did. And I actually thought of that when I was reading this because I love Ellery Adams and I love all of her series. I got to meet her a few months ago, which was just wonderful at a Cozy Con. And she's a wonderful person. But I did find similarities because she does deal with issues like this. And again, it is in a way, and I love that comment because it's kind of in a way, yes, they're highlighting it a little bit, but it doesn't get too in depth, so it pulls away from the story, and it still is a cozy, but a little more serious. So, and it reminds me of Ellery's Secret Book and Scone Society.
Exactly. That was exactly what I was thinking. And I was trying to not give away spoilers, but the main character, this isn't really a spoiler, but she's missing part of her pinky and that affects her mind. Like they're just little things that aren't necessarily uplifting or you necessarily think of positive. There was one book, If You've Got It Haunted, that is such a fun read. Everything about it from beginning to like to the end is just uplifting and happy. And it's interesting when other cozy mysteries kind of give you that up and down and you experience different things. So I think that's where we're going with this book. And hopefully she can keep that kind of nice balance of we're having the cozy, but we're also having realism because sometimes having the two go hand in hand is not always the easiest task to accomplish.
It's a testament to the author to be able to do that. So, that's why I already ordered the next book.
I just saw, so people in the comments are talking about how they had the big corporations and fracking as another subplot. And again, that is a heavy topic. That's really important in today's society, economy. I mean, it's a big deal. And
Yep.
I was going to say, it's almost like the good guys won in the end, which, it kind of, that's very cozy mystery going, yep, we kind of got this going in the right direction now. So
Yeah.
more power to her.
Yes, for sure. And I like the focus on the organic farming too. So that was another thing because I'm very into all the organic and they, I forget the neighbor's name, but he was very into the organic
Mhm.
farming and didn't like the fact that Nettie was spraying fertilizer on his farm. So that was another issue that was brought up.
Oh yeah, I wrote that down. Nettie used pesticides, which upset Nancy. And someone up above, I just saw the comment. Um, I like that the women were all strong and independent, Cat Mom. I love that comment because we could have had one character in particular who could have become a victim, but instead, in the big denouement with the big reveal, she totally took charge. I mean, I don't know when we want to get into spoilers, but I loved one particular storyline at the end where I'm going, thank you so much for this. Yeah, okay. Carrie's right there with okay. So it was Flora. It was Flora that who I'm referring to. Yes, I loved her in the end. She took charge because it could have been oh, my man did me wrong and all these things happened around me, but she totally did not back down. She took charge and she was like, let's take out the trash. So definitely like the comment about strong women. And I'm saying Flora kind of stole the show for me at the very end.
She really did. I love that comment when she said that to him. And I loved, she was a great character. And I agree with you. She could have been a victim and she was not. And I'm hoping to see more of her in the future books because I think she is a great female character. And that is a very good point. There was a lot of strong female characters that are overcoming tough issues. And Flora really did. And I was shocked actually the way she took that. And she really kind of did a 360 and was like, I thought she was this meek daughter, that had been put aside by her mom and just told what to do. And she really showed she had some spine in the end.
Oh, absolutely. She also, again, mini spoiler here, she could have continued with her mother's business call mentality. I mean, this is the woman who raised her. And so at the very end, she gives the quote unquote mineral rights back to Lucy. And so she could have said, no, I'm going to continue this. I want money. I'm going to disrupt your land. My mother wanted to do this, so I'm going to do this. But she actually flat out said, no, my mom did you wrong. I'm not going to continue on with this. I'm giving them to you. And I thought that was so great. It was like women supporting women and not necessarily, following someone's path just because she was your mother. I mean, obviously love your parents, but the mother was not the nicest person. And thinking, okay, my mom wanted this, I'm going to go down that road. No, she was her own person and made her own choice. So again, I know she's fictional, but I'm a very big fan of Flora.
I am too, and that is a great point. She could have very easily followed in her mother's footsteps. She didn't, and that shows, a lot of backbone. So I was very proud of her in the end. And I'm hoping, and I think maybe that was done for a reason because she will be a more prominent character in future books. I hope,
I
because
know. I want her to get her own side story. She needs to be the protagonist of her own story.
she's so not the next victim.
Oh, I'd be sad about that. Someone up above mentioned Nancy. So we have two victims in this book. So we have Nettie, who is just angry. She's on everyone's bad side. So when it comes to who has a motive, I think everyone in town could just raise their hand at this point because she was making everyone's lives difficult. She was not a nice person. But then we have a second victim with Nancy, and I was not expecting the second victim. I actually had that moment where I had to flip back and go, wait, what just happened? I was kind of taken out of it going, did I miss something? Why did Nancy go down? Because I didn't mind her. She wasn't a vicious character, whereas Nettie had that sort of evil side, and she was two-faced, and you can see how she was kind of doing people dirty, whereas Nancy just wanted to deal with her bees. I mean, there was nothing wrong with Nancy.
No, she was very, I had to kind of go back and look, wait a minute, who is he?
Which one
And
was Nancy?
was in the background. And I was surprised by that, but I understood the for it being, well, I don't know if you want to get into the total spoiler of who the murderer is and why, but that was, I think that was done for a reason.
Yeah.
So
I know, we'll be like spoiler free for another few minutes, then we'll get into the nitty gritty of who did what and why, I suppose. This way, people, if you haven't read the book, we're not going to ruin it for you. But I will just take a moment to pull up the poll. So right now, the winning percentage here is 46% of people gave this book 4 stars, 27% 5 stars, 24% 3, and only 3% gave it 1 or 2. So it looks like a majority of people here tonight have really enjoyed this book, which makes me very happy.
that's great. I love that. I mean, I thought it was a great book, so I'm glad everyone else enjoyed it too.
I mean, one of the things I kind of thought about as I was reading was just the sheer amount of details with this book. So if you like details, and I kind of feel like this comes up every so often with our book club discussions, if you want to fall into a cozy mystery and fall into the world in its entirety and have the details of, I'm not just going to say, oh, I had lunch. You get to actually have her make things, have her sit down, have her clean the dishes. I mean, you have a full-fledged scene there versus, oh, we had lunch and we're moving on with our lives to go sleuthing. This book was very detailed. And if you like details, this is the perfect book for you. If you're someone who wants super fast paced, always moving, you don't want to know about the person's lunch. You're just like, oh, okay, they ate, we're moving on. I feel like this book would probably not be the one for you.
I completely agree with you. And when you ask me, that is one of the reasons because I loved the detailed descriptions of the farm. I loved that she told us what chores she was doing in the morning and at night. I found that fun because and again, you're right. It was all the little details that this author put in there that I think really made this book special. And I loved all the detail and the descriptions of even the landscape and how the barn was. But that was unusual, and I agree with you. It's not like a fast-paced thriller, of course, but I love that type of book. So
And she also, for me, when you have those cozy check marks where for some reason, I was fascinated by the name of it being the Blue Onion. I kept thinking of Knives Out. This was before Knives Out, or like the Glass Onion later on with the sequel. But the Blue Onion, I don't know why. I thought that was a great name. But then you have Dewberry Farm. Blossom is the name of the cow. I mean, there's so many fun names too. So you're not just having the details, but there's some fun little things along the way. When she's driving to said places and you read the name of this street or the name of this town, you get a little smile out of it.
You do, and that's another thing that kind of remind me of the Ellery Adams, because I felt it's the same in her books. All the names are great, and the name of the town and the name, even the name of the jam, it was, that's another good point, because that goes towards the details of the book.
So I do have a question, because part of me is curious if you think, even in the comments, let me know. Are we going with like a smidge of paranormal? I mean, this is mostly realism, except for one thing. It's mentioned in dialogue only once about the farm potentially being haunted. And that's not really brought up again because I just, apparently the ghosts are not haunting our particular sleuther. The people before apparently were haunted and kicked out of this farm. However, our sleuther is accepted. But the only paranormal moment we have is when this 1940s murder mystery newspaper article drifts down right in front of her at the exact right moment. And that plays into kind of a connection of then versus now and how they go hand in hand with, oh, this is the family backstory. This is how we got here. But the way it's might be haunted and this kind of went, right at her feet at the right moment, do you consider this somewhat paranormal?
I thought about that when I was reading it, and just because how she went back into the barn after the paper
Mhm.
floated down to see if there was a breeze or if a window was open or anything, and she didn't find any reason why there would be a breeze to blow that paper down. So I'm not 100% positive, but I would say yes, there is going to be a bit of element in these books, which I love.
But it's only kind of at the corners of the story. It's not full fledged. I mean, I mentioned before, I love Dead and Breakfast. I love, for some reason, I mention this book every couple of months. It comes up just because it always kind of stays in the back of my mind. Where they have the ghost Orville. They named him Orville. That's not his actual ghost given name. They just decide that this ghost, they're going to name him Orville because they like that name. But he's there and they hear him laughing. So he's kind of involved to some degree. Whereas this particular ghost, we don't have a name yet. We don't know who this victim is, how they died, why they're at this farm. We just have a little bit of a presence. It's almost kind of a aura in a way.
It's a background kind. I just found it too much of a coincidence with the paper floating down, and then I believe it was Thomas Smoller, the grandfather, and it just, I don't know. I think there might be something coming up in future books.
Well, even the scent of lavender, she's thinking, oh, this is
Yeah,
reminiscent of my grandmother. Well, is the grandmother there in spirit, or do you just have lavender on your farm? I don't know.
I don't know yet. It'll be interesting to see how this plays out, I think.
I love how I just have a random note of Montagues versus Capulets. Just that's literally a one-page note because that's where the author was going with this small town love. I mean, that's, would we like to get into spoilers now? I mean, we've been talking for a little bit, but we have Nettie, and this woman is just causing all sorts of trouble. And there's a lot of interesting moments when you have the small town. They're going, oh, small town life. It's so simple. Nothing bad will ever happen here. And then you have these backstories. People have secrets. There's all sorts of stuff. It's a hotbed going on. There's a lot of things going on in this little town. I almost don't even know where to start.
I don't know either, because when they were listing, when she went to see the librarian and when people were telling her everything that Nettie had done, I said, oh my God, there's a lot of stuff going on in this town, a lot of gossip, a lot of backstabbing. Nettie was not a nice woman.
Oh.
How
So
come with the
you mentioned Myrtle. So this is one of my favorite Mean Girl moments in literary history. So they had a vote for how they're going to paint their local library, and somehow, some way, Nettie was able to get them to paint her color scheme, even though the paint cans were labeled the way they voted. She somehow still got her colors up on the wall. That alone, I mean, kind of got to like give her kudos. Like, I don't know how you pulled that off, but I mean, you shouldn't have had your color palette because it was 6-1, but yet somehow it's still your color palette. I understand why she was upsetting people, because that's kind of, if you lost and you you don't take it graciously, but then you go behind their backs and somehow still get your way. I mean, I understand how Nettie was able to to become the victim and have everyone be a suspect. It made sense.
Oh, for sure. After you heard all the stories, particularly the paint story, I said, "Oh my God, that's something to pull off. That's a feat." She really didn't care what anyone thought, and she just wanted to get her own way, and that was it. And she didn't care how she did it or who she ran over in the process.
I mean, I forget how old she was exactly, but part of the reason why she didn't like our leading lady, Lucy, is because Lucy was the granddaughter of the man who didn't take her to prom or broke up with her in high school. So she's been mad at this particular man and his family, like his descendants. She's mad at his descendants for what, 50 years? I mean, this woman, talk about holding on to a grudge. I mean, does it burn calories for her? I mean, what's going on?
Crazy. I found that very funny when they said that because it seemed like everyone in this town held on to a grudge because that now I forget the name, but it was someone else didn't like someone because they went. I probably have it somewhere, but I found that very funny that she held this grudge about going to the prom, and she was crazy, Nettie.
On one hand, though, he went to the prom with the woman he later married, and they had a full-fledged family with. It's not like he just left her for some random person of, oh, this girl needed help, or oh, I really have a crush on her. I mean, the woman he went to prom with, he married. It's not as if it was a little fling or something. I mean, at some point, just let it go, woman. They're happy. Go be happy with your own significant other. Move on. It's okay. It's been 50 years.
You have to let it go and stop holding a grudge. Or granddaughter that bought the farm.
I just saw this comment. Ashley, in cozies, I always find it funny that they're always like, it's so quiet and safe here, but there's a ton of murders. For such a small, quiet town, they have such a high rate of violent crimes. Exactly. I love it in Cabot Cove by season 9. There was someone who said they always leave their door unlocked. And I always had that. I just cannot believe in season 9, after all of these people have been murdered in Cabot Cove, Maine, with Jessica Fletcher investigating, you are still not locking your doors.
Yes.
Ashley, you nailed that.
Yes, she did, because this was the coziest town ever, yet people are dying.
even Nancy with her bees, who was harmless.
And that was another great detail with the honey and Nancy selling her the wax for the candles, and I love that.
Oh, poor Lucy was a fully grown woman, not in control of her own life. There's a lot going on with Lucy. So I think she said at one point, she was like, I'm turning 40, but then she said she was 37. So I know she's in her late 30s, and she's never been married, but I think maybe the vet at some point, maybe they'll be the love interest and they'll get married. But we kind of got a little bit of her backstory with, she didn't really know what she wanted to do career-wise. She became a newspaper reporter, but she didn't totally love it. It wasn't her dream. All of a sudden, she decides she's going to go to the farm she grew up on with the grandmother, where she had wonderful memories. So she's learning how to farm. She's the suspect in a murder case now. Now she has to clear her name because the town sheriff is totally going to pin it on her because she's the outsider. I mean, Lucy definitely was a multidimensional character with a lot of different moving pieces to consider.
She really was. She was a great character. And, I think she is kind of coming into her own now that she's at the farm. And I'm hoping in the future that her character is developed more and, get to see what Lucy is really about. Because I feel like she had a lot on her plate in this book between moving and automatically being a murder suspect. And, she had a lot going on, poor Lucy. So I hope her life calms down and I hope we get to learn more about her.
Even just keeping Blossom in her pen is something of an issue for Lucy.
Yes, poor her cow misbehaves. I feel like everything in Lucy's life was just upended. She can't even get a cow that behaves. So she had a lot going on.
Well, even when she's the suspect, she was smart. She got a lawyer. The mineral rights, they're going to go digging on her area. They're going to dig up, I mean, they're going after her flower bed. This is where I kind of was pausing. They're going to dig up things that she's already planted. Then they say, oh, we're not going to cause any damage. We'll replace everything. We'll be fine. That's not the point. But she has to go get the lawyer. So she's spending a lot of money trying to clear her name, make sure her farm remains intact. I mean, she was trying to keep track of the bill, going, okay, well, him taking his sweet time coming to the phone to talk to my lawyer is going to cost me this much. I mean, she has a lot of different things, even just the lawyer bill, because again, if you're innocent, you don't want to go to jail. Also, you don't want them digging up your property.
I a lot of expenses for just moving in. I mean, I know it kept saying she had a nest egg. I don't know how big this nest egg was, but I think she needed to find another income stream. And I thought it was very funny how she kept adding up the lawyer's bills. Because if anyone ever got a lawyer, it's the truth. On the phone, you're thinking, okay, this is $100. And I love that part. I thought that was a very a very funny thing.
Oh,
For the
yeah. I just saw this, and no one warned her about Blossom, but everyone knew what Blossom was like. They all knew cow number 82 was going to be pulling her Harriet Houdini act.
That's very true. The vet knew, and no one warned her with the fence. I actually thought in the beginning when Blossom got out and was down in the town, I thought it had something to do with the sheriff or someone let him out or something. I'm like, oh, this cow get out. I thought someone let him out. And then here it is, just a cow that likes to escape. So I thought that was a very funny touch because I really thought someone did it on purpose in the beginning.
I'm kind of with you. I had that moment of, oh, they're mad at her. She's the outsider. I mean, there have been other movies and TV shows where people have deliberately done things on the farm to get the cattle or the horses to go stray. And all of this, but she's going down Main Street and she's stopping along the way to munch. I mean, she's not just hightailing it out of town. She's lingering. She's meandering around, enjoying the scenery, eating her grass. I mean, they all knew where she went too. And the fact that the friend was like, have you seen she had to call her. She goes, is this your cow? Are you missing a cow?
That was very funny. And I love the way she went right to the flowers and ate them all on Main Street.
Well, so I don't know how that's going to work. She said she's going to replace them. I don't know if she's going to go plant them or put seeds in there, but someone up above mentioned that she's also, so she has the lawyer fees, but she also had to do she had to write a check for the sheriff's pants because Chuck, the dog, because again, the sheriff is a horrible character. He's awful. Dogs know this. Dogs understand. And when the animal doesn't like someone, you as the reader don't like them. So when Chuck attacks the sheriff and rips his pants, she then has to write a check. And it was $50 or something for his pants. I mean, it was
Pants, yes, which I was like $50 for those. I can't imagine Wooster wearing nice pants. So I was a little surprised by that. But yeah, I thought that was a very funny thing. And dogs do know if your dog doesn't like someone, there's a reason. They definitely know.
I just saw this comment. Apparently, she has goats wanting to escape in book 2. So now we're adding animals, but they're still trying to escape. What is going on?
Oh my, I love goats. So I can't wait for book 2. I don't want them to escape though.
I mean, I'm worried. So it's one thing if they're escaping. I mean, clearly people in town are keeping her apprised of the situation, calling her, letting her know that the animals are there, going, hey, you're missing a cow, come get her. My concern is, okay, I know this is a fictional story, but what about the fictional cars potentially hitting these fictional animals?
Yeah, can you imagine a cow walking down the street of your town? Obviously, this is a farming town because that cow wouldn't get far where I live. But I thought that was very funny. But I'm glad she was okay. But yes, all these escaping animals worry me.
I love this comment. Blossom better be the leader of the goats. That is amazing.
Oh, that's funny.
That is great. That makes me so happy because Blossom is in charge. I mean, she's a decent sized animal. I think she was more in charge than Chuck. Chuck was kind of more lackadaisical, except when it came to the sheriff, and he also liked Tobias. But yes, destroying fictional crops. Someone up above mentioned, and I lost the comment, it was about how farming is difficult, and they liked that this particular book did not glaze over farming with it being overly idyllic. It was hard work. And I forget where that comment was. I'll try and find it. But I thought that was a really great point because Farming is not easy. I would never, I mean, I give farmers a lot of credit. I from waking up early to then having to worry about what's going to play out. Is this going to actually yield what it's supposed to yield? You have to worry about the weather. Now she's worried about people coming onto her land. There are a lot of things going on for this particular farmland. So yeah, it wasn't just oh, I'm going to go enjoy the scenery and bask in the glow of the sunlight. I mean, she's working hard.
Working hard. And I love the way they detailed her chores in the morning and at night, because I found it interesting, all the stuff that she had to do. And it is a lot of work. Farming seems like it is very difficult until actually get stuff to grow so you can sell it. And you know, that's a lot. Someone actually mentioned, I saw too, and I forgot about this when we were talking about the paranormal, that the cookbook opened mysteriously.
I
And
forgot about that.
because the cookbook opened to a certain page when she was in the kitchen. So that could be another instance of maybe the grandmother being around in some type of way.
I mean, I'm curious where they're going with this with the grandmother and the paranormal components, because I think I like having it on the sideline, because now she doesn't have to make up a whole magical world rule book. We don't have to get into the nitty gritty. This is a very detailed book, but I kind of like that this was left a little bit on the vague side. I kind of appreciated that, because this gives me let me look forward to this in book 2 and book 3 and see where this goes, versus we already have the answers at the end of this book, now we're closing the chapter and moving on. I didn't mind that this was left a little open-ended.
I agree. I like that. And I think it's like kind of building up to it instead of giving us everything in the first book. It's kind of building up to what is going to happen in book 2.
Okay, so I just saw this as one of my notes. For some reason, so the bratwurst thing, I just kept thinking of 10 Things I Hate About You, the scene where you have Heath Ledger talking to the guidance counselor, Allison Janney. So the fact that this is what killed the woman, and somehow I kept thinking every time they said bratwurst, I kept thinking about this scene. It was not as vicious as it should have been, because it's a murder scene. You're supposed to be thinking, oh, this is horrible, this is awful. But every time they said the bratwurst skewer, I'm like, oh, she's talking about her cats and Heath Ledger. Like, I was never really that upset when it came to Nettie and her murder moment. So just random 10 Things I Hate About You reference thrown in there for your amusement.
That is funny. It was an interesting choice for murder weapon.
It was different. I don't think I've seen that one before or since. I mean,
Definitely not.
but for some reason, I just looked down and saw that in my notes. I'm like, I got to make sure I reference that.
That because the murder weapon was definitely an interesting choice. And you know, I read a lot of cozy mysteries and never saw that one before.
I like it when cozy mystery authors can do something that's different or unique. I liked that we had a cow as kind of the cozy companion. Yes, we had the dog, which is very traditional, but we had Blossom kind of stole the show, didn't she? I mean, at least for me.
Definitely sold the show, and definitely a unique choice for a cozy companion.
And she also tries to escape on her. So, she did.
I love that we also had Chuck, though, because Chuck was a sweet dog and tried to protect Lucy, even though, you know, sometimes I think Lucy needed protecting from Chuck because, you know, she was trying to tell him, oh, leave Rooster alone. It's like, no, go bite Rooster. Go pull Rooster's pants off. That's what he should be doing. Chuck was a good dog.
I mean, he was. I have a dog. I'm a dog mom. So whenever there's a dog in a book, clearly I'm going to have the affinity for the dog. I mean, I love the cats in the books too. Don't get me wrong. When we have a cat cozy mystery, I'm always there for the little fluffy cuteness. But I am a dog mom, so I do always love it when there are dogs in books.
I do too. I do too. I agree.
I'm just looking down. I mean, if there's something in particular you guys want to talk about when it comes to the story, characters, a scene, line of dialogue, please comment and let me know. I almost forgot to mention, because every comment tonight is going towards a giveaway. So I will gather all of the comments at the end of the night when everything is archived. I will, even if I don't see your comments and post them tonight, I will be reading them and seeing them, and I will randomly select a winner. So one person is going to win a paperback cozy mystery of A Matter of Pedigree. Leslie Mayer, we actually read her before for the book club, so she has a new cozy mystery coming out. So someone here tonight is going to win this cozy mystery. So the more you comment, the better your chances are of winning. I wanted to make sure I referenced that because also dog on the cover, that's why I thought of it. So my mind, this is how this works. There was a reason why I thought of this, and I remembered the dog.
Fantastic. I love her books. That was, and so I was just reading one and it said also the rolling pin. I think everyone thinks it's paranormal. The newspaper, the rolling pin, Grandma is Present, Paranormal from Vicky Farmer. So I forgot about the rolling pin, Vicky. Thank you. That was a good comment.
Oh, so I just saw you thought Chuck was dead. I would not, this would not be a cozy mystery. I would not have finished this book if the dog died. I saw this on Instagram. It was, I can watch a murder mystery documentary or a murder documentary in which 30 people are viciously killed, but the second the dog is injured, I'm done. And I'm going, exactly.
Oh, read anything with animals when no. If the dog died, I would continue.
Oh yeah. I mean, if it's a cozy mystery, every so often an animal will get injured. It breaks my heart. It does happen though on occasion, but they always get fixed. They always have those bones get mended. They are brought to a vet, and if it's Tobias, it's a cute vet who's the love interest. But the animals have to be okay. The second the animal is not okay, it's not a cozy mystery. It's a thriller. It's a hardcore mystery. It's not a cozy. No, if the cat dies, if the dog dies, I'm done. I'm sorry. No. That's my hard line.
I don't even read thrillers or any other type of book that has any type of animal abuse or animals dying. I can't. I just love animals too much. I mean, I'm a big animal lover, so that's why I think I love this book too, because there are so many animals, and I like that aspect of it.
I mean, honestly, I know people love the John Wick series. When it was really popular and people were talking about it, the first one came out, I remember watching the first 20 minutes and then I'm going, I'm done. As soon as as soon as the animal was injured, I was done. I'm like, I don't care how many movies you make in this franchise, how much money it makes, how much you guys love Keanu Reeves, and yes, he is awesome. I will always watch Bill and Ted. I mean, that's one of my comfort watches. But I cannot watch John Wick. I am sorry. No, I need to go hug my little girl, pick her up, kiss her little fluffy face. Can't do it.
There's actually a website, Did the Dog? And
What is it?
you can look up any book and it will tell you, because there's people like me that can't even read it. It will tell you what books animals are injured or hurt, so you do not read them.
I kind of take comfort in that. This came up last month too, because I had been watching Midsummer Murders, and there was an episode with, I love how I always think of him as Filch from Harry Potter, the actor. He's kind of he's not a homeless man, but he's kind of wandering around. I think they referred to him as a tramp in English society. And he had foxes, and one of the foxes was shot, and I lost my mind. I was going, oh my gosh, I need to see how this ends. But then there were baby foxes, so he had little ones. So they tried to make it feel better, but I still was upset. They did not pacify me to my, fullest extent with my little animal loving heart.
Oh, I know. I can't do it. Even if it's a squirrel, a horse, anything, like any animal.
Can't do it.
No,
I need that website in my life. I know. I'm so excited that I learned about this. I'm going, okay, this is going to get bookmarked so quickly after this live stream.
Stephen King book, which I don't read as horror, I read as other stuff, where the dog was, something happened to the dog, and I said, no, no, no. I was just so upset. It bothered me for weeks. So I happened to be listening to a podcast and they mentioned this website, and I said, oh my God, thank you. Because I need something like that. I can't take it. It just bothers me too much.
No, I'm right there with you. It's traumatizing, which is also why I think I take such comfort in cozy mysteries where I know the animal's gonna be okay. I mean, yes, the actual people, the fictional characters, they might die, but my animals are going to be safe. So Blossom, Chuck, I'm taking comfort in the fact that cozy mysteries are not going to let anything really bad happen to them. Chuck got a little hurt, but really bad, we're not going to let that go down.
Only the nasty people. mysteries. And that's why I love cozies too, because even when there is someone gets killed by a bratwurst skewer, it's you don't really, you know, you don't really know exactly how that happened because there's no graphic detail and there's no, and I don't want to say it's glossed over, but that's how cozy mysteries are. Is yes, there's a death that happens, but it's kind of off the scene.
So people in the comments, I think we are officially in Spoilerville. So would we like to talk about the murderer? Because I was glad it was not Peter the Hobbit Hole. I loved that reference so much. He was the next door neighbor who was anti-pesticide, organic. He called himself a hippie. But I love that she's like, you built yourself a Hobbit hole. And she kept comparing him to Tolkien. I just love that because I love Lord of the Rings. I have multiple editions over there on a different bookcase. Someday I'll show you guys because again, you guys the camera moves, but you're starting to get to see this room. But there's a Lord of the Rings section over there. So that just made me so happy. And this is also for me when I love it when cozy mysteries include references to books that are non-cozies. So I love the Ellery Adams reference, but it's always fun when they reference Jane Austen and it's not a Jane Austen themed book. Or Vicki Delaney has her Sherlock Holmes themed books, but all of a sudden there might be a sci-fi reference. I love those random references that have, I don't want to say nothing to do with the story, but are very different from what you expect from cozy mysteries. So the fact that there was a Tolkien Hobbit reference, my little nerd heart was so happy.
I'm sure a lot of people are happy by that because he's so popular. I love that too. I love the description of the little house. I love the neighbor. I was very glad he was not the one who was killed.
So he was not killed, and he was also not the killer. So did you solve the mystery? People in the comments, did you solve the mystery? Because I asked this on Instagram, and a majority of the people with the percentages did not solve it, or they had a hunch, but most people did not seem to solve this one. Did you solve it?
I suspected, but only at the end, when it was at the very end, when it was the run in the diner. And
Yep.
I thought, oh, okay, this has to be it. But honestly, for a while, I was suspicious of the daughter, Flora.
Yep.
I thought she had something to do with it. At that point, I didn't really know enough about the fiance. But once I started, gathering more information, I think there were a couple clues that were given. Then I did suspect him, but it really wasn't until the very end, which made this a really good book because I did not guess.
I'm right there with you. It wasn't until probably the last few chapters when there was more information about the big corporations and kind of got a little bit more insight and context. But I kind of was looking at Flora. I was kind of wondering about, okay, we had Myrtle. Again, there was a random librarian who had a name, but we never got to see her again. So I was wondering who did this because, again, we had that short list of characters. So at some point, we encountered this person. We know that this character exists. Who did it? And I like this one. The red herrings threw me off. It kind of, yeah, going down the rabbit holes, even though
Yeah.
you didn't feel silly about them, they kind of still contributed to the overarching narrative, and you got to learn more about the characters in the town. I just saw this randomly pop up. I wish Tobias was my neighbor. I mean, Tobias was not the murderer. That was also good. We don't want the love interest to be the bad guy. But yes, it was all about money, and he never loved Flora. We had an evil killer this time around. I mean, nothing about him was redeemable. He killed this woman for greed. He actually kind of hinted he might kill Flora after they were married to get her money. This guy really had no problem being a bad guy.
No, when he was having an affair with the waitress or wanted to have an affair with the waitress, and he just was not a nice person at all. And I think once we got to see more of him, that's when I started getting more suspicious.
I just saw someone mentioned, I mean, I actually was a little suspicious of the sheriff because he really was terrible at his job. I mean, right from the get-go, not only did he suspect someone who kind of had a iffy motive. I mean, literally everyone in town had a motive to kill this woman. So finding this one person be like, no, you had motive, and disregarding all the other characters, that was suspicious to me. And then when he he didn't block off the crime scene, and then he didn't take care of the actual evidence, I mean, Tobias even said the chain of custody. He was so bad at his job. I'm thinking he cannot be this incompetent. Maybe he's doing this because he's the killer. But no, he really was just that incompetent.
He really and now that you mentioned that, I love that scene when they're on the porch and Tobias really tells him off and makes him leave and basically tells him you're not doing your job. You haven't even given the evidence to a lab. So, I mean, that in and of itself is incompetence at its peak. So I don't know how this man was sheriff, and I hope he does not have that job in the future. Let's put it that way.
See, thank you, Diane. He was so bad at his job. I thought he was the killer. That's where my mind was going because I'm going, there's no way he didn't, section off the crime scene. There's no way he forgot to do this. No, he was just really that dumb. I mean,
And that's why I was kind of suspicious of Flora because I thought, is he protecting, his family or something? Because I didn't think anyone could be that stupid, but I guess I guess he was. But that is one of the reasons I actually suspected her in the first place.
that's fair. That's a very fair observation. And in a way, when it comes to the small town police force, if there needs to be a reason why the sleuther investigates, and she made it very obvious why our particular sleuther needed to investigate. I was okay with Lucy investigating. I was not thinking, oh, she's Miss Marple, putting her little head over the hedges, looking what's going on, being nosy. This guy was not going to do his job. She was a suspect. Things were really going downhill very quickly. She needed to sleuth because if she didn't sleuth and everything was left to him as the sheriff, this town is going to be, it's going to be the purge. I don't know what's going on, but they were going to be in this devastation. That guy should not be left in charge.
That's so true. And that's actually a really good point because sometimes you're like, oh, the police are doing their job. They're collecting all the evidence. Why this person's getting in the way. They're almost hindering the police. In this case, that was not true. I mean, Lucy needed to protect herself and defend herself and find out who the killer was because that sheriff was not going to do it. That's for sure.
No, I saw the comment up here, Mama Rocks. She was frustrated with the horrible police officer because it's one of her least favorite tropes. And it can be handled in a way where they seem so incompetent, but as a caricature of themselves. This guy, I didn't think of him as a caricature, though, because we had the hinted at domestic violence. He had the family moments. He'd never actually done a murder investigation before. That was referenced. So I think he was just really out of his depth in every situation. And you also knew he was a bad guy. So you're also thinking, oh, well, we're not going to make him redeemable in this way. So if she had made him a great police officer, as he's the domestic violence abuser, as he's being rude, as he's being condescending and all these other negative things, it kind of just worked as his character. Like it kind of lined up for me in a weird way.
It did for me too, because I kind of feel like she wrote him in a way that almost he was like kind of bumbling around and didn't really know what he was doing. And it just kind of it fit his character. It really did.
If he's making the same mistakes in book 2, he needs to get voted out. And someone up above was said, sheriff is a voted on position. Vote him out. Yes. Who's going to be the next town sheriff, though? I mean, Lucy is a reporter. I don't know if she could be town sheriff, but they need to get someone else in there. They had that lady at the reception desk who she wrote the check out to. Maybe she can be sheriff. The bar is very low at this point.
Yeah. Do a better job. And maybe now that they're rid of Nettie, some of his family's gone. So there won't be anyone to vote him in again, is the hope. Nettie and his hopefully Flora will be on our side too.
I think Lucy and Flora would be really cute friends. I kind of get the impression that they have a connection now. I mean, yes, you escaped a murderer, so that's obviously going to, give you someone and they're going to be connected for life. But the way that they stayed in touch after the big reveal and they were talking and Lucy told Flora about her family history, and they had a little bit of a conversation. The back and forth dialogue to me really worked well as a friendship. And again, I love female friendships in books, especially when it's one of those, is it going to pass the Bechdel test of, oh, they're not just talking about a man, we're not just talking about this or rivals. Like, they were just full on having wonderful conversations. And I feel like Flora is going to be a good character in the future books. I want her to be happy and okay. I'm rooting for Flora. I want her to get her own little like spin-off series.
I agree. I think she's a great character. And I think at the end that hopefully happened for a reason, and that her and Lucy will be friends. And I think the three of them are such great characters together.
I just saw that Blossom for sheriff, and then the bar couldn't be any lower. Oh, I'm glad we're all on the same page about this guy. I mean, oh, Rooster. Yes, Blossom really would have been a better sheriff at this point. She really would have been. The bar really wasn't that high.
Blossom was a smart cow. She could get out of the fence. So I think Blossom would be a good pick.
I mean, I liked Blossom. I mean, I'm just looking down at my notes. So we had Quinn, who was a good friend. We had Molly, who was a good friend. Maybe Flora will become a good friend. I liked the representation of, women supporting women with this book. But I am curious if she's going to be doing freelance journalism for the small town in future books, maybe. I don't know if she's given up her journalism entirely, because she did go to the local newspaper, the Zephyr, and say, hey, if you have any jobs come up, because again, farming is hard and it's hard to have just one income when you have lawyer bills to pay. So she might actually get some assignments later on as a journalist, and maybe there'll be other sheriffs and other small towns in the area. I'm curious. There are so many different things with that she can do with this book series. And I did look it up. I made a little graphic. There are 10 books in this series as of this moment, I'm pretty sure. And they all have beautiful covers. I mean, look how pretty those are. They definitely have that same theme across the board with the title, with the backdrop, with the images. So I have not read all of the books in this series. This was my first time reading this author in this book, but I'm curious. Are you going to be, you already said you're buying book 2. Other people in the comments are saying book 2 is coming up. So you're in it for the series?
The series. And once I start on a series that I love, I kind of have to binge the whole thing. So I will be posting and letting you know, because I love this one and I want to see what happens. And I'm very curious about Lucy and Flora and of course Blossom. I want to see how they all turn out. So I did already order book 2, and I plan on continuing from there. So we will see. I think there's a lot of great characters that can be fleshed out in future books.
I think the author was really clever with leaving the door open and setting it up so that she could be the journalist. You could have this farm issue going on over here. There were so many different ways she could take it. So I kind of understand, I'm going to pull it up again, how she got this many books. Also, I mean, go her for writing the series. I think some of them are self-published. I'm not entirely sure if there was a transition or not, but she's done very well writing the series. So, I mean, it's always nice to see an author who loves what they're doing, is dedicated to their series, and readers really seem to resonate with readers. So this is book 2, and there are a lot of ratings on Goodreads. So clearly it's found an audience. So hopefully more people are becoming members of the audience and reading along. So I'm kind of ready to read book 2 myself.
And thoughts was that maybe that she's going to use the newspaper as kind of a way to find some more cases. I don't know if that could happen, but it was a thought I had, to find more cases to investigate through her newspaper, through her reporting.
I love it when there's so many different ways that this story could go, because you're not going to run out of ideas. The author is not going to be writing herself into a corner. That's why I remember reading in an article one time about bringing Jessica Fletcher to New York, because they were going, we have killed so many people in Cabot Cove. We don't know how else to keep killing these people without this being the murder capital of the world. That's why after a certain point, they had Jessica Fletcher in New York. And one of the reasons why she was traveling was because if she stayed in Cabot Cove, they were writing themselves into corners. So I like that she's leaving different doors open for herself and for her characters. So 10 books later, she's doing something right.
She's doing something, and that may be a good way for her to find cases to investigate. Unless Rooster stays sheriff, then she'll have to do his job. So there's many different ways this could go.
Oh, I just saw this comment. Oh, I'm so glad you're enjoying the book. That makes me so happy. I'm so glad people seem to have enjoyed this book. And again, if this wasn't the book for you, hopefully you'll enjoy the next book we're reading, or you do find a cozy mystery you love. But I am glad so many people did seem to enjoy this book and are going to continue on with this series. I mean, if enough people are interested, I can always try and organize a buddy read to do some sort of conversation on Instagram or something else. I can always defer to this lovely woman because I think she's very, very well established. Where's your Instagram? Here it is. I try to add some little graphics to make it, because you deserve the graphics. Yours is very visually appealing. I gotta add some clip art to go with it. So maybe we can figure something out for book 2 if enough people are interested. But I did see someone mention that it's hard to find these books in the library. So I always try and give people enough time. This is also why the TBR is done way in advance so that you have time to either put through the library request, put through the interlibrary loan, try and maybe put some money aside or ask for that gift card for Christmas or your birthday for Amazon. So it wouldn't be for a little while in the very least. So if you do have trouble getting this at your local library, don't worry. I will figure out something. We'll get you there.
Way you always pick the first book in a series, because everyone can start a new series together, and if you love that book, you have so many books to go to. And I have to be honest, I get a lot of my cozy mysteries from thrift books.
Yeah.
If interested in used books, and Angela, you give plenty of time for them to be delivered, so you can order. I like to go on and order all the books at once for the year, and you can find books sometimes for $3 to $5. So it's a great way. And being that you do pick the first book, usually they're a couple years older, so you should be able to find it, and that's a great idea too.
I'm so glad you said that. I mean, I love that we're always literally it's a fun little pun. We're starting on the same page with book 1 because if you try and pick up book 2 and 3, some people are not going to have read books 1 and 2. They're not going to have time to read it before book club. So reading the first book, I always like that we're all starting. Even if you've read the book before, you're starting again and you get to be with us from the get-go. So I'm glad that it's always book 1. And speaking of book 1, I'm going to put my email here so you guys know to send me a message if there's a book you want to recommend for 2026. So it's always the first book in a series. It has to be available across platforms. So it's not just an Amazon or a Barnes & Noble exclusive. And then the book has to be available as a paperback, audiobook, and ebook because again, everyone reads differently. I know we have some visually impaired sleuthers, so the audiobook, sometimes that's a determining factor. I know every so often I get books that are recommended, but they don't have the audiobook version. So I sort of put them on the back burner to figure out maybe I'll do a buddy read or have some sort of recommendation list of just those submissions. And then it has to be a title that we have not already read. And we have read a lot of books for the Cozy Mystery Book Club. A book a month since 2018. That's a lot of titles. So you can go onto the website and find the complete backlist of titles. Or if you can, I mean, I've a couple of people have recommended books that we've already done. And so I just write them down and going, oh, maybe I'll do a highlight or put this in the stories or something just to know that people really enjoyed this book and it was recommended again. But we've read a lot of books. So if you recommend the same one again, I'm not going to hold it against you because I know people join. I mean, there are always new people joining, which makes me so, so happy. But I do have, it's called thecozymysterybookclub.com. The entire backlist of books is there. I work so hard to make it so that you guys can just see the book cover. There's a link to the YouTube live stream discussion, the book blurb. So there are a lot of cozies listed there for you to go peruse as well. But I am currently working on the 2026 voting form. So if there is a title you want to recommend, here's my email. Please utilize it. I mean, if you don't want to email for whatever reason, you can always send a DM to either my account or the Cozy Mystery Book Club account, whatever you want to do, however you want to submit your recommendation, just get it in. As long as you send it in, that's all that matters. How you do it, it's okay.
People so much time. Angela posts all the cozy mysteries for the whole year, so you can go and buy all the books. And I absolutely love that. And I also just have to mention, because my favorite time is coming up, it is the 12 days of cozies in December. So if you are not aware of this challenge, please go to Angela's website. I do it every year. I've done it the past 2 years. And yes, it's some work, but I love it. I absolutely love it, Angela. I have to tell you, it's like one of my highlights the holiday season. So
Oh,
check
thank you.
if you have not participated. You can do it 1 day or 12. So it's so fun.
You're gonna make me cry saying that. You're so sweet. Oh, I've been working on it behind the scenes. So I am going to be revealing the Instagram challenges. There's a method to my madness. So Cozy Mystery Day is September 15th. So on Cozy Mystery Day, I thought I would reveal the challenges. You don't have to start thinking about them. They're just going to be posted. You can read them over, think about, oh, maybe this book, maybe that, but you don't have to do anything right away. But Cozy Mystery Day, I thought I would share the challenges for the first time. So again, I always think things through. And Cozy Mystery Day, September 15th, I'm going to be doing a live stream with Kate Lansing and Mindy Quigley. We've already read both these authors, and y'all really liked their books. I mean, they were very well received among this particular book club. So if you guys haven't read Kate Lansing, Killer Chardonnay, or Mindy Quigley with her pizza, I mean, she has the cutest book covers too. So I'm really excited for these two particular authors for Cozy Mystery Day. But on Cozy Mystery Day, I'm also revealing the 12 Days of Cozy's Instagram challenges. So all the stuff is in the calendar. All the things are being worked on.
Amazing. I to be watching because I love those two authors. And I actually just bought Killer Chardonnay to read in preparation. And Mindy Quigley is one of my favorites. So very excited about that.
She participated in 12 Days of Cozy's for the first time this year, and I got to participate with her Instagram Live, and she was so sweet, so endearing, and I loved the Instagram Live. I'm so excited to have her as part of the live stream, so I think that it's going to be hopefully a really great conversation, and obviously it's in honor of Agatha Christie because September 15th is her birthday, so every year September 15th is Cozy Mystery Day, so
Herself.
I just saw, right, the pizza books. It is the pizza books. And for some reason, every single time I get confused. So I know this. I know it's, we read her for the book club. We read the first book in the series, but Public Anchovy #1, Public Enemy, Public Anchovy #1. I always see the #1. I'm going, but that's the third book in the series. I always confuse myself. So don't get confused by that.
Yeah. That's a point. That is a very good point.
I thought I would throw that out there because I get confused by that one. But I think I've mentioned all of my notes. Is there anything you have coming up you'd like to mention?
Really, I be reading my movies and posting all my books. I love to read and I love books and I love sharing on this platform. And I love the people I've met, Angela, you, and all the other cozy mystery lovers. I really just appreciate everybody for following me and for sharing all your book recommendations. And if there's any cozies that you've read that you love, please let me know. Because anyone ever wants to buddy read, please DM me. I buddy read all the time. And I love it. If you're new to cozies, let me know if you need a recommendation or if you have one that you love.
I mean, I love your Instagram feed because you also have not just the beautiful photos, you have very thoughtful captions. So I can tell that you give them a lot of thought, and it's always fun when you see someone who just enjoys reading. So so I have my personal account, so it's at Writer A Heart, and then I have the Cozy Mystery Book Club one. So again, everything posted is for me. I've been getting emails saying hello, Angela and team. I'm like, no, it's just me. But both of my accounts follow her, so both accounts are following this lovely lady.
I love it. And people say, why people ask me, why don't you take a day off? Why don't you, how do you post every day? I love it. It's not work. I love reading. I love sharing the books, and the people I've met are all great. And it's really a great platform. And if you love reading, it can't get any better.
I can't believe I get to do this. So I get to officially check off Killer Jam. So I'm going to do it again for you guys who didn't see the little check. So we have August. We're checking it off. Oh my gosh.
Oh, I can't believe it. We're at September, but that means we're closer to Christmas. So I'm happy.
I mean, I always have these visuals in the media bank. So we have the jam, we have that image, and then we have, I always do this. I always put together all of these graphics, and then I get so invested in chatting with y'all, I forget that I have them. But we also have the ones, so yes, you have the actual animation of the check marks going off.
I'm very curious for the September book. I just actually bought that one too. I haven't read that yet. So that's going to be a good one.
So it's against the current, and or current to say. And so there are a few books in that series. So again, when you read the first book, there's always at least, a little bit of time between book 1 and 2, and maybe a book 3 and 4. So there is at least one book that we're going to be talking about with Where Did You Go? I have the little TBR. There it is. I have to go looking for this stuff sometimes because there's so many different media assets here that I go click through. But I can't believe that we're only 3 more live streams for this year. But I don't want to forget to mention, if you guys take a photo of one of the book club reads, and it doesn't have to be on the main Instagram feed, whether it's on your blog or you do it to your Instagram stories, however you shared the photo, let me know, because I want to make sure I can share it as well. Share it to the Instagram feed or Instagram stories. I always try and include Sleuther shout outs in the email newsletter, but you also are entitled to a Sleuther bookmark. So if you have a photo, send me the link and your mailing address, and I will send you a bookmark as a thank you. I didn't want to forget to mention that because there are new people who might not know that we do that.
And I love how you find all of these new books that I have not read yet. So, and it's a great way to explore all the cozy mysteries, is just going through all the months. So I love that.
Well, again, I've been working on the 2026 form because some people have been sending in their recommendations, and January is always the revival month of titles that almost won, but not quite. Some of them literally lost by a single percentage. One of them lost by 0.5, which I think is hysterical. And this book has been coming back around. I don't tell you guys the final percentage points because I don't want any author to feel badly when they see their book in last place, or, oh my gosh, my book almost won, but it didn't. I don't want anyone to ever feel bad. So I only reveal the winning titles. But again, you guys vote on everything. You guys submit the book titles, you vote on them. So you guys really do select all of the titles. But the 2026 one, I've been working on it. And I got to say, there's a good range of books from older cozy mysteries from the 80s and 90s to current ones that just came out within the last few years. So there's a lot of stuff there. It's going to be interesting to see what you guys actually vote on and what becomes the 2026 TBR.
Oh,
I just saw this one. We blew up her TBR. Well, I'll take it.
hey, nothing wrong with that.
I saw that. But no, please, I'm going to pull up her information again. She is reading for the seasons, and I love her Instagram. So Dana, reading for the seasons, one and the same. And again, if you are not following her, please check out her account. I'll pull up the Cozy Mystery Book Club one as well. So at Cozy Mystery Club, I've been sharing her information in the stories as well. So if you want to just be able to click right on through, you can do that as well, because I can't hyperlink stuff when we do live streams like this, but it will be down in the comment section or the description box at the end of the night. So there's that as well.
Your site is so great. Following you because they're on here and you're wonderful. And I love everything that you do.
Oh, thank you. She's gonna make me cry. She's so sweet.
True. You've cozy mystery lovers together. And I feel like you've really highlighted that genre.
Oh, thank you. I mean, it's so fascinating to know to cultivate, to be involved with this, that people are reading the books on the list and people are here participating. I mean, I can talk. I mean, I can love cozy mysteries all I want, but you guys are the ones chatting about them with me. You guys are taking time out of your days to actually discuss and read a book. And it's just, I'm honored that you're doing that you're taking time out of your days to read and discuss cozy mysteries with me. I mean, I truly am honored and do appreciate it. I mean, you're taking time to do this tonight. So, I mean, I'm thankful for you. So again, I'm trying to figure out like, oh, this woman.
Well, I appreciate it too. I mean, everything you do is wonderful. And I think the cozy mystery community itself is just a wonderful group of people. It's just, I went to a cozy mystery event and even the authors were saying, like, the cozy mystery lovers are like the best people. They really are. They're just the best people. They're very sweet and everyone just loves to read and wants to share their experience. And I think that's great.
I think it also probably speaks to, we enjoy the books that are more on the uplifting side. We want to protect the animals. Like, these are our people. So I'm glad we're finding each other and this community is growing and people are joining the book club. Oh my gosh, you guys are so sweet in the comments. You guys just, you're gonna make me cry. I'm wearing mascara. I'm gonna look like a little raccoon in a minute. You guys are so sweet. I'm just really appreciative that you guys are doing this and taking part in the book club, because again, I can love cozy mysteries all I want, but if it's just a book club of one and I'm talking to my dog Daisy, like that's not the same thing. So I love that we get to have these conversations.
It's the community is what makes it special, and I think everyone's love of cozy mysteries is what makes it special. And you've really created that.
Oh, thank you for saying. Oh, she's gonna make me cry. Thank you for saying that.
Oh, I mean it.
Oh, and I'm like, and she can come back and guest host whenever she wants. She's welcome back anytime.
Come back. I would love to come back.
Aw. Thank you so much for chatting with me. And thank you, everyone in the comments. I will be going through all of your comments. So even if I didn't see them and share them tonight, I will be reading them over in the next few days. And it does take me a couple days to go through because I want to make sure every single comment is entered as the giveaway entry. So I will be reading them and seeing them in the next few days. But if you did comment, please look in the email, the September, again, I can't believe I'm saying September. I know pumpkin spice season is officially here. The September email newsletter, I will be revealing tonight's giveaway winner. So that email newsletter will have the giveaway winner's name first, and then I share it on the Instagram and all the other social media platforms. But the email newsletter will have the giveaway winner first. Everything is always first there. So be on the lookout. If you commented, check it out. And if you didn't comment, you were just joining and watching, you are still a member of the book club, and I still appreciate you. So thank you, Dana. I'm going to pull it up again so you guys don't know, if in case you forgot. Reading for the Seasons, Dana, Reading for the Seasons. Check it out. So thank you to Dana for joining and being this amazing guest hostess. Tonight was her first night doing this, so like all the applause and thank you to you.
I have no idea what I'm doing, but I tried.
You did a wonderful job, and I'm so happy and honored that you did this. And thank you to everyone who joined, participated, commented, read the book. I mean, next month we have, I'm going to pull it up one more time. Where's my little image here? I have my little, I almost pulled out my 10 Things I Hate About You image. So we have 10 Things I Hate About You, bratwurst. But then next month is Against the Current. So we have another Cozy Mystery Book Club title, read. So if you want to talk about another cozy mystery, join us the last Tuesday of the month at 7 p.m. EST right here on YouTube. So thank you to Dana. Thank you guys for commenting and participating. And please stay safe, kind, and creative. And as always, happy reading, writing, and sleuthing. Bye, everyone.